my name is Alton and I'm a peer worker at Wild.
Hi, my name's Christy and I'm also a peer worker at Wild.
I'm Katie and I'm not a peer worker at Wild. I'm just one of the other workers.
And my name is Jane and I'm one of the other workers at Wild.
Acknowledgement of country. We want to acknowledge the Turrbal and Yagara people of Meanjin. They are the traditional owners of the land we are on today. We would like to pay our respects to the elders past and present. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Acknowledgement of advocates. We would also like to acknowledge the many disability advocates and survivors of violence that have done this work before us. We want to thank all of them for sharing their lived experience expertise. We could not have done this project without building on the knowledge of so many before us.
So we're going to start the training today by talking a little bit about Wild and what we do. So we all work for Wild Sexual Violence Prevention Association. And so who do we support at Wild, Christy?
We support people with disability and sexual violence.
Yes, exactly right. So we're supporting people who have an intellectual disability and have experienced crime, such as sexual violence, domestic and family violence, and other crimes. So we often have a number of different things happening at Wild. So we're filming April 2023. So if you were watching this later on and you want to find out what we're doing, it would be best to jump on our website, as we might have some new programs or projects. But we have always will have the core programs, the Sexual Violence Prevention Program and the Victims of Crime Program. So here we're supporting people of all genders, 14 and up. So in the SVP program, we're offering counselling, group work, community education. Victims of Crime program is a case management model, so supporting people who might be interested in reporting crime to police, supporting them through court, connecting with other services and supporting them in their recovery. Wild also offers statewide community education and information as well. So we've also got the Disability Royal Commission program. So this has been supporting victim survivors to share their experiences with the Royal Commission through hearings or submissions. We also have a counsellor that is supporting people through this program as well. So we're based here in Brisbane, in Wooloowin. However, we do provide outreach to both Logan and Caboolture for counselling and for outreach support from the VOC program. We often have a number of projects happening at Wild. So we're here to talk about the Listen Up project, which we'll do a little bit later. But we've got a number of other things going on that Christy's been involved in. So Christy, tell us a little bit about your role with the Equal Access project, which is the Easy Read stuff.
Me and Katie's been working on Easy Read stuff because it's special people with disability, because they can't understand it or they can't read it because the words are too hard or too long, or they can't fill out the form because it's too hard for them, and we can't ask them to help us because they just push us away and tell us to go to see someone else to fill it out, and it can be embarrassed to ask them because they don't know your history or what's wrong with you. But we hopefully get it done shortly, the Easy Reading form finished soon, and make it easier for all us to do it ourselves then. And if you'd like more information about it, please contact Katie at Wild. She'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Christy, we've been learning through a lot of the work that we do at Wild and through the projects that often when people with intellectual disability are going to different services, they're handed a whole lot of information that's really hard to understand.
Especially with the words on it, we've never heard before.
Yeah, so confidentiality, rights, complaints, these all can be tricky words for people who have an intellectual disability. So Christy and Katie have been running workshops and finding out what words we need to use instead of these words to make it easier for people. And this has involved working with DV services to share some of this knowledge. They can start using these documents in their services as well.
Listen Up project. We have worked with the experts, that is women and non-binary people who have an intellectual disability.
Yes, so from 20 to 2022 was the sort of the first stages of our project. And what did we do here, Alison?
We talked about how how workers could work better with women and non-binary people with an intellectual disability after experience of violence.
Yeah, so we know from research and from our work at Wild that people with an intellectual disability often find it really difficult connecting with services and receiving service after an experience of violence. So we were really interested in hearing more about what needs to change and what would be more helpful so people can receive an accessible service. And then 22-23, what was that all about, Alison?
Jane, we talked about how we can prevent violence against women and non-binary people with an intellectual disability.
Yeah, so we continued on. So we were lucky to continue this project and just shifted focus a little bit. So for the last year, we've been talking to the experts around prevention and what we can do as a community to prevent violence against women and non-binary people who have intellectual disabilities.
That's correct, Jane.
So why did we do the Listen Up project? So we know from experience at Wild that women with ID experience violence more than other groups, and sexist and ableist assumptions are the drivers of violence against women with ID. So you should be on the page with all the training, and there's a whole training around that framework we used around drivers of violence. You're welcome to have a look there. We also know that women with ID don't get asked what would help, and we wanted to change that. So we know that women with ID often aren't even part of the conversation in prevention work. So I know, Christy, you talk about this a lot, feeling like you don't have a seat at the table, that you're not being invited to ask what your opinions are and what would help.
No, we get left out most times because they think we're not good at it because we've got this ability, and we do come up with good answers. So we do want our opinions in it too.
And we know that the lived experience is a form of expertise, and understanding that experience means that you're more likely to know what's going to help and what's going to change things. So we wanted to really focus on women with ID and their lived experience in this area.
Yeah, because they think if they make our IDs, like we can't do it ourselves, they do it for us because they think we can't do it, but it's not true.
And that led us to make...
And do you think you'll be expert?
Yes. So Alison, how did this all come to be? How did we come up with this?
Well, one of the women in the group said that we're teachers, we're experts.
Yeah.
And that's how we came up with the name. And do you think you'll be expert? And it's also on Google.
Yeah. So Alison, yeah, exactly right. Someone said, I'm the expert, I have the expertise, I should be the one asking the questions. And so from there, that's how we've come up with the name. So the whole, I guess, idea around the name, and you think you're the expert, is challenging this idea around who holds expertise. And so we know it's people with lived experience, and that's why in all of our podcasts and in everything that we've been doing, women and non-binary people with intellectual disability have been the center of all the discussions and are the ones asking the questions.
That's correct, Jane.
So what did we make? So as Jane said before, in 2020 to 2022, we made a 7-episode podcast. I know that one was one of your favorites.
I loved it because I'm involved in 4 out of the 7.
Yeah, so you can hear Alison in 4 out of the 7 episodes. We made a booklet, we made 2 videos and 2 posters, and this website that you should be on at the moment. So this is an example of one of the resources we made. So you can find that on one of the tabs up above on this website. So the perfect worker and the perfect service. How did we make this?
We asked the experts what they thought of a perfect worker, and some of the things they came up with are flexible, on time, and easy to understand us.
Mm-hmm.
And with the perfect service, we asked people what a perfect service would look like. Example, one of the quotes on this is pick up the phone off the machines. Example, we don't want to be getting onto people via answering machines. We want them to pick up first go.
That's right. So all of this, like all the resources, has the information directly from the experts. So this is from all the different groups we did, and we put it together in a resource.
So what else did we make? So from 2022, 2023, we've also been very busy. What have we been making?
We made
Christine?
videos, we done training, lot of training,
Mhm,
lots of work,
mhm.
and it's really, really good because we actually speaking up ourselves when we do videos and trainings and what we want.
Yep.
And plus we're learning a lot more stuff and how to do stuff, and we're learning new words as we go.
Mhm. So this training that we're doing right now is one of 7. We've created 2 videos that Christy, you were a part of.
Yes.
And what were they about?
I can't remember.
That's lots of. We've been very busy.
Yeah.
So one was a myths.
Yeah.
So myths that community hold around intellectual disability.
That Miss one, that's the one I was in charge of
Yes.
asking the ladies the questions and
Yep.
what they want to put out because they're the experts.
Yep, that's right. The second one was talking a little bit more around the type of support people might need to have their say and be a part of these types of discussions. We also made 5 animation videos that look at everyday discrimination of people who have intellectual disability. How did we do all of this?
We came up with some amazing co-design workshops. We also did brainstorming sessions, games, fun activities, discussions, and importantly, healthy and tasty lunch.
Yes. We also did a range of semi-structured interviews with the peer workers and the experts. So this is where we were asking them if they're enjoying the experience, what they liked, what they didn't like, and their thoughts around prevention of violence as well.
That's correct, Jane.
So we also made the resources. So we asked people what they thought in those workshops. We wrote out what they wanted to say, and we practiced with them a lot. And then we did the review workshop. So we checked that the resources were actually what people had in mind. So how did we make sure that people were able to share their thoughts about that, Christy?
We at first we go through the rules and that, and then we ask them if they got any rules to add to it. Then we add to it if they got any. And I always tell them there's no silly questions or answers to make them feel a bit more comfortable. And plus, it feels them a lot more comfortable in the workshops too when we play games and activities in between. So we're not doing it all at once. It won't be so stressful for them.
Yeah, that's right. So we did the group agreement. We make sure people feel comfortable, and we play lots of games to make it fun.
What was your favorite resource?
Oh, I couldn't pick one. It's like picking a child. If you'd like to know more, you can have a look at the trainings on this page. If you're not on this page for some reason, you can go to andyouthinkyou'retheexpert.com.au to have a look. So we talk about having peer workers. So Christy and Alison lead that one by themselves, and they do a great job of explaining what they do as peer workers at Wild. So check that out. Why should someone have a look at that training, Christy?
Because it's very, very good to look at it, because most people going through got disability and got going through DB. Even I got disability went through DB, and that's why I understand where they're coming from, and it's easier for them to talk to me because I've been through that and I've been there. So it's more easier for us to talk to each other, and it's harder to talk to new people about it because they don't listen or they don't believe us.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a little snapshot of that training if you want to learn more from Christy and Alison's expertise in this area. We also have co-design activities and psychoeducation activities, so going through the activities that we used in workshops, and evaluation, so how we evaluated our project.
And it's really good to have a peer worker working with you too, because you can learn so much from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've also got the link there if you needed to access it at any time. thank you very much for taking part and watching this lovely video, and we look forward to having you next time.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope we can meet you next time. Looking forward to it.
So am I.
Thank you.